beautiful mind. If you're new here, I'm Roland Attenborough. I'm the leading GAN scientific and analytical reporting researcher. Thank you to all my viewers and subscribers. Today we're back for a really big update today. This one's going to be a little bit more in-depth. This is a follow-up to our Saturn and our ninth hour, or 135 degrees, and what we could expect when Saturn comes back to the third degree. We were talking about that in the previous tutorial. Let's just take a look at all this stuff here. This is going to be a big one. Okay, so as you guys all know, my ring theory was stating once we pass this ring, we're going to have a big energy kick up. Either one way or the other would move down or would move up. I was speaking to you about the energy that we are going to make it up to 28,000, about 600. And there we would probably most likely experience a lot of resistance. If we were to suffer resistance here and to be pushed back down and to be pushed below this, it's quite likely that we would end up somewhere down here by the 16th and whatnot. So we're just going to pay attention to these levels, my trend lines here that are, their purpose put there, obviously to find the next levels moving down. So next we're going to talk about over our ninth hour, or 135 degrees, we could expect a change. I've been talking about this for a while. Also on our ring theory, whenever we get to the edge of these rings, we experience a lot of capitulation. Usually there's a lot of volatility that's associated with the beginning and ending of these Fibonacci rings. So pay attention to that. Back to our indicators, and as you know, I was talking about our indicators, and sometime back around the 8th, I was populating a few tutorials, and I was saying to you that I was not satisfied at all with this type of action and the fact that we were getting mixed signals here as to strength. And I was stating to you quite equivocally that we needed to come back to these levels. I wasn't satisfied, and that if we didn't see that, then I'd be, again, nervous about what the market was doing. And of course, here we are. The RSI has returned back to these two previous levels here. We finally got a confirmed golden cross. We have our first set of buyers who moved in. The accumulation and distribution bars have turned green. The buyers have moved in. We also want to note that with this move, this last move here was really weak. The buyers, right, we just didn't have them. And I was telling you in our sidereal tutorial that's right, we're going to have a top around this 10th or 11th, and it just came 1 or 2 days just sooner on that sidereal time. So we caught it. It was a terrific call. We do this all the time. This is what we do. We use all Mr. Gann's research, all his books, courses, and we utilize everything that he is speaking about. We do not try to reinvent Mr. Gann's wheel. All we are in fact doing is outlining and utilizing the concepts and methods that he was in fact populating, researching, and of course doing. Let's of course now go take a look at our next. So our stochastics has finally given us a signal now. We broke above this period here. We might suffer some resistance right around this area as we've been talking here. It's looking an awful lot like we could see a reaction here. Again, this is an area where I expect a reaction. If you've been watching my previous tutorials, I've been drawing trend lines down over my RSI, my stochastic, and of course my MACD. As you can see, all these indicators are now starting to turn positive. And as I was stating, it takes a long time for us to have a turnaround and to be patient. We have to wait for these market maneuvers where it exhausts the emotional capacity of most people as traders to either stay in an investment or to get out of the investment. So, as you have known, this yellow line that I've populated here, we've been talking about this 25,300 level extensively. It's so critical and important. It's not even up for debate to talk about. If we lose this area and don't recover under one of these trend lines here, and possibly we could certainly do this down to, I was saying this earlier, 19,000. We could certainly come back to this area, and we would still be in a bull market, in my opinion, just because the structure of the market stays intact. It would indicate to us that we are, in fact, in the throes of a new bull market, which isn't 100%. We have to break these angles, particularly, that's right, buy Bitcoin when it breaks out above 31,800 and it sits on it, not just when it just breaks out. We have to make a for sure confirmation that this level is our next building block, just like this level right here, right? We moved above it and we made our building block right on top of this whole level right here. What did we do here? From this one, we had to make our next building block on this really important level, 25,000. This is a very important level. We lose this level, it's definitely Humpty Dumpty, and we don't want to see that. We want to see Bitcoin continue to stay there, and we want to see Bitcoin make an advancement further to that. So, sorry, I just had to grab my pointer here because when I put my pointer on the square here, you can't see it. 25,000. We've been talking about this level. This is really super critical. We lose this level. That's right. It's like I said, we'll be moving back down to 21 and sit down on this 19 right here. And right now, 19,000 is exactly opposite. The sun is right here in the zodiac, and Saturn is right here in the zodiac. They're exactly 180 degrees opposite, and I expect it to change. Let's go have a look at that really quickly. Okay. August. Saturn. It's been retrograde. We were talking about this. It's back to 3 degrees right here, and it's opposite the sun on this day, the 26th, 27th, 28th. Okay. And I've been talking about this swing low, right? This is where Saturn was in April 13th and 14th. This was the top. This is where Bitcoin made its first major top, and we haven't exceeded this. This is this top right here, okay? We're just going to go back and talk about this, just so you understand how important it is when planets return to a degree in the zodiac they were previously due to direct and retrograde instances. Okay. April. Okay. There was our top, 13th and 14th, when the sun was conjunct Jupiter. And look at, there's our friend, Saturn, right? Made a square here, an exact square with Venus right there. Okay. This is how important this is. You've just actually now decided that you're going to subscribe to my channel and you're going to sign up to my GAN workshop, where I'm going to teach you all this stuff in super great detail. By the time you end that course, you'll be able to have your own YouTube channel. You'll be able to populate it with all the things that I have taught you. This is exactly what Mr. GAN was doing. He was comparing market cycles and looking for changes in trend. That's exactly what we do. All right, so moving forward, we were talking that around this area we were going to have a capitulation. And I was talking about this area around the 26th. And Gann gave himself 3 degrees. Christ rose on the third day. So 3 days from the 26th, gee whiz, it's the 29th. And what did we get? That's right. Christ rose on the third day. So here we are. Are we going to get sacrificed here? Is that what's going to happen? Because this is our first indication of resistance. We must get over this area. We were talking about these trend lines when they come down like this, and let's just talk about this where it squares out with this bottom right here, right? Look at this. Right at the bottom of this channel area here where that's right, every time we get a snap up and then a return to volatility. We are talking about this one coming down and squaring out with this period right here. Let's go take a look at it. It's right here, right, where we have a bottom and a snap up, right? We've been talking about this, right? We have a bottom right here, and then we have a snap up in volatility. This is what's occurring right here. We're squaring out this bottom right here with this trend line right here. And look, just note it crosses right here, our blue projection line here between our tops here. This is important. If we don't follow this whole trajectory and break above and sit on 31,800, that's right. My forecast for a November top here in this year, which is similar to 1963, the presidential election, where unfortunately JFK lost his life, we are revisiting and revibrating that very scenario right now. And it's possible and likely that my forecast is intact if we jump above this and sit on this. If we do not sit on top of this, my forecast for the 2024 bottom here at our Bitcoin halving event will be fully intact. And I'm expecting that either a month before or a month or 2 months after this event, that's right, we'll be 15,000 again. It just seems that that's what Bitcoin is about to vibrate to. Now, if to end on that note, for us to not follow my 2024 forecast for this bottom down here in this February, which is a bear year again and sets the course for the new bull year, which I expect will take place in 2024 and 2025. It'll start, and it'll be a very rapid succession up. Should that not take place, then, like I said, it's back to 15,000. The government introduces these fraudulent CBDCs, which are not backed by miners or nodes. If you don't understand what that is, basically a mining operation or a node, they're basically accountants. They just record everything, right? They want to take care of the record keeping. The government doesn't want record keeping. Anything the government has ever made for policies or any type of regulations, they have all been detrimental to every man, woman, and child. Doesn't matter. You can call me out if you want. If you love the government, well, that's your business. The government is not your friend. They've been constantly thwarting the people. They have mismanaged every single policy. I could make my own YouTube channel just about that kind of stuff. CBDCs are not backed by miners. They have some crazy guy from the government sitting in the back office, and he's punching in numbers into your debit card, which will be populated with the currencies that they have instilled while their fiat dollar has died. Basically, you're just supporting their fiat cryptocurrency. See, Bitcoin can't be erased. They cannot get rid of it. It is digitally set, and it's recording every single transaction, and it is absorbing every one by one. It's absorbing all the assets and resources of this world, including me and you, your dog, your garden, the trees, your car, your house, everything in the world, every single plant, water. That's right, it's all being absorbed. Slowly, Bitcoin will absorb it all. This is why the bankers want you to be dead. They don't want you to own a property that they can't control. That's right. This is like back in the day when you found a big lump of gold. You didn't even tell anybody. You just took pieces in and went to different towns to the jewelers, and you just gave them a little bit here and there, never telling them. So this is just like Bitcoin is just like gold in the old Wild West. As long as you're holding it and you don't tell them you have it, can't really steal it. Okay, I went off on a bit of a rant there. Let's get back to what we think is going to happen here. Because as you can see, we've had our ninth hour. I've been talking about this 28,000 and this return. We need to break above this. We suffer resistance here. It is immediately back to this area. Immediately. And if we don't regain strength here, then it's a move down and possibly a major move down. And around our inauguration, it's possible we sit down at this 19,000, square the crap out of everybody before resuming. If we bounce off this 25,000 here, that's right. My February 24 forecast is still intact for a low at 15,000, possibly as low as 13,000. You know, I've been talking about these areas. You know, why is that? Well, 31,000 right now is our current top. So let's just revisit that. This is our top, 31,000. Our current market bottom, 25. We are exactly 90 degrees back, and we're holding in the square a second time. So we have a second top and we have a second bottom. Interesting. This is stating if 31, we don't get above this level and we show extreme weakness, 360 degrees or one or two squares in is 13. It's just sitting right under 31 here. That's right. That's just down here, guys. It's right down here. I know it does kind of sound a little bit far-fetched in a bit, but you know, we just honestly we have to be mindful of the fact that we could see by this May and this June and July, you know, several months after, and I've been talking about this, 1-2 months after, we get a pullback, and you know, from this March, what would 2 months represent? That would represent May, and if we were to push 1 month further and go 90 degrees or square, we'd be out to this June period. And you know what happened back in June, right? That one, right? And a year ago, what happened in June? I mean, you guys, you just have to revisit what was going. There's our last June, right? Let's go take a look at the other one, right? The other one took place back here. Right in here, look at that. June, 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 right? We're bottoming in this area here. So it's critical for us. It's very critical. As a trader, I'm extremely aware of the fact that we are in for a major fake out or the resumption of the bull market campaign, at least till November. And if we were to suffer a reaction here, it's likely that the 19th of December, we'd be back to maybe sitting on this or possibly sitting below or even back to this level. If this were to hold, extreme strength would be recorded and we would be moving up into the new year. And by 2024, we could have this top out here that is 50 and 60,000 right in here. It's possible if we get some super duper strength. There's 53 and 56. Okay, it's just sitting above where we're vibrating. So it's possible we could get some major strength and move up to these areas. But we would first have to see the likelihood that my forecast states, that's right, like Mr. Gann states, everything I say is Mr. Gann. It's not even me. I can't even recreate any of this stuff. All I can do is teach it exactly as I'm taught and show you this is how it's done. We must replicate this behavior and method. We have to sit on this 31.8. If we do not sit on this, these numbers up here, they're not going to vibrate for us, especially if we don't get above this. That's extreme weakness. That's really extreme weakness, building this block here. We need to stay above this. Now, we could push forward, and let's not forget, okay, guys, we can stay inside this channel right here longer than you have patience to watch Bitcoin to see whether or not it's going to break down or break above. That's right, because your life, your family, the things you're doing, your work, your situations, whatever you do, maybe you play baseball or I don't know, maybe you do soccer or whatever, you get busy. And when we go through these periods, you start to forget. And I've been warning you, okay? I've been warning you about these angles. When we break these angles that are put from our top, these are our angles that tell us, you get above this, yeah, it's up to another level here. Where's our next level? Well, right now it's here, and this next one is right here, and it's this angle right here. We have to get above this angle. We're starting to show immense strength right now. Like I've been, I've been very patiently waiting for this, very patiently, and I've been putting out several tutorials. I've been waiting for this sequence to carry on and fulfill itself. Is this going to happen? It seemed very fleeting when I've been talking about this that we were going to move back down to this area here around the 26th and that we were going to have another move up. My previous tutorials are discussing all this stuff, and as I've stated, time is more important than price. And right now, time has ran out a ninth hour or 135 degrees or 135 days when Jesus cried out, "Why have you forsaken me?" So here you can see that you got tired and you didn't buy because you were scared. Well, we put this trend line here so that you could buy this asset and see that, the next place to get out is logically here. We've been talking about this for several weeks now, about this trend line. And if we get above this trend line and sit down on this 19th or this 20th or wherever, if we're to sit on this, that will show great strength, and we could very easily pierce through this 31,700, 31,800 level and sit on it. And if that was the case, if we were to sit on this, that would really mean extreme strength. And let's go take a look at our Fibonacci channel, and let's see if we can see anything there that would indicate to us a possibility of our run extending out. So we've come up, we've pushed on this Fibonacci line. Okay, so we're just going to revisit this really, really quickly before we talk about this in great detail. Here's our Fibonacci 1 line. It's come through, so we've sat on this now. Where would we expect our next amount of resistance? Obviously, looking at these lines, we would have to say that it would occur somewhere on this blue line. And we've had it right inside this channel here, right on that. This is more or less indicative of the fact that we could see the very same thing occur again. We could have this whipsaw get above this, move down somewhere into this January, February period. And then again, we could again be pushing up against this line and be retesting this 40, this whole level right here. And as you know, we've been sitting down at 25 here. So this 25 is in line with 49 and 48 here. So is that where the price will be? Well, I mean, if we were to have a capitulation bottom here, it's possible we have a big move up. And I know that maybe sounds a little wild and crazy for you guys, but that's precisely what happened. Right? Here's our other blockchain halving event. Happened on the 3rd of May. Right? Like, check it out. We had this great big grandiose fall down, just kicked the crap out of everybody. And then what happened? Directly after that, it had this amazing, that's right, took right off. Extreme volatility. Okay? And if we take, say, let's just say we take these two tops, we link them together. All right? Let's just do that. I mean, you know me, guys. This is this is how it is. You want to know how to find where the next points are going to be? Well, let's go take a look at them. I mean, we have to study the past before we can move into the future. We have to study the past. Okay, so we're going to line this up exactly on this top. Okay, exactly. Look at that. It's right on there. And look where it takes us. Right here. And looking left, what's there? Right? Seeing this? See? This level here, this 15,000, we're going to come back and revisit this, guaranteed. If we don't get above this 31,000 here, you will be seeing history repeat itself, and we'll be back to 15,000 by that time. You'll have probably shorted Bitcoin and made a pile of money, and you'll be really happy with watching my forecasts, and you'll definitely be signing up to my courses. You will be very grateful for the information and education that you're about to see. Nobody's talking about this in this kind of detail and context. It's all a bunch of rubbish everywhere, guys. All they want to do is distract you. The charts tell you where the price is going to be. We just have to follow along with the trend line. So we've put our trend lines on. So we are now, like I was saying now, this bottom at 25, it is linked with our current cycle bottom. These trend lines are the same degree. If we lose this trend line under 25 here, we're still in a bull market if we stay above this 23 and 21 level here. We'd still be in a bull market, guys. And it would be likely that we could swing all the way around, revisit 31, and then hit this 34 right in here. It's it's essentially possible here. We could certainly do this. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you because today I've been waiting for this to come around. Time is the major thing we have to be patient of, and not until sufficient time will any big move take place. So, with that in mind, be guarded at this 28 for a fake out. Make sure your stop loss is well placed. You don't want to be you don't want to be stopped out here if we continue to move on, and particularly get above this major resistance level. This will be a moment when we hold the torch high above our head. When we get above this and sit on this, that's right. And you're going to see this. If we break these angles here and we continue on, you can be sure that we can make it up to 34,000 right here. That's right. Anyway, guys, I thought I would share that with you. Make sure you're using all your indicators, the trend lines. Purchase a square 9 from me if you want more resistance levels where you can work out for yourself where you think things should be or where they're going, and be really helpful for you. This is how I'm able to do it. Okay, guys, peace and love. Safe trading. Use a stop loss. Tear my tutorials to pieces, guys. Just rip it to pieces. I'm here to make sure that we take careful steps moving forward and that we don't exactly fall into the quicksand.